Okay, question 9 wants us to write this in partial fractions and then integrate this. It's a big 9-mark question. So let's go ahead and do the partial fractions part of the question. So it's a repeated factor one, which tells us that it can be rewritten as a over 1 plus 2x plus b over 1 take x plus c over 1 take x all squared. And if we times both sides of the denominators by both sides of the equation by the denominator here, we're going to get 2 plus x squared equals a times the 1 minus x squared, because this is going to cancel with this, plus b times 1 plus 2x times 1 of the 1 minus x's plus c times the 1 plus 2x, because the 1 minus x squared terms will cancel. So the next thing I'm going to do is find out a or c by using a sensible substitution, and the one I'm going to choose first is 1. So that will give me 3 on the left. This term and this term will cancel, and this will allow me to work out what c is. Well, it's not going to cancel, it's going to be worth 0, because we've got 1 minus 1 here and 1 minus 1 here. So these two terms are worth 0 at the moment, and we've just got c bracket 1 plus 2, so that's 3, which tells me that c is 1. The next substitution I'm going to use is when x equals negative a half, which is a bit annoying to have to use fractions, but it's the easiest one to choose because both of these terms will cancel and it will allow me to work out a. So on the left we're going to have 2 plus a quarter equals a bracket 1 plus a half squared. 2 plus a quarter is 8 quarters and another quarter, so 9 quarters equals 3 over 2 all squared, and 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4 as well. So that tells us that a is 1. And the last thing we're going to need to do is work out what b is. There's nothing else we can choose to make part of this equation disappear, leaving b. So I'm just going to choose another sensible substitution, and the substitution I'm going to choose is when x equals 0. So we're going to have 2 on the left equal, we now know that 1 is a, so 1 lot of 1 squared plus b lots of 1 times 1 plus c lots of 1. And we know that c is 1 as well. So that simplifies to 2 equals 1 plus b plus 1. So b is actually 0. So our initial 2 plus x squared over 1 plus 2x times 1 minus x all squared can be written as 1 over 1 plus 2x. That middle term we don't need, nothing here, but plus 1 over 1 minus x all squared. The whole point of doing this is because we can't integrate this, but we can integrate both of these two things here. And that is then what it asks us to do. Between 0 and a quarter, integrate this expression. So obviously we're not going to integrate that expression, we're now going to integrate this expression. So, between a quarter and 0, 1 over 1 plus 2x plus 1 over, well, I'm not going to write it as that. I'm going to write it as 1 minus x to the minus 2. Anything other than a power of 1 on the bottom like we've got here, anything other than that we're going to bring up as a negative power so that we can integrate it. This one's different because that's going to be an ln. Now if we were to differentiate the bottom here, we wouldn't quite get the top. If we were to differentiate the bottom here, we'd get 2. So we're going to do that trick again. We're going to pretend there's a 2 there, but put a half on the outside as well so that they cancel out. So that helps me realise that the integral of this is going to be a half ln of 1 plus 2x. And when we integrate this, we're going to add 1 to the power and divide by the new power and divide by the coefficient of x. So add 1 to the power will be minus 1. Divide by the new power, but divide by this minus 1 as well. So that all cancels. So I'm just going to write it out one more time neatly. Don't need my mod signs because nothing's going to be negative. It's just going to be plus 1 over 1 take x. Okay, so now I can put my my limits in. We've got a half ln 1 plus a half, so that's 3 over 2. Plus 1 minus 3/4. I'll tidy all this up in a minute. Minus what we get when we put 0 in. When we put 0 in here, we're going to get ln 1, so that's nothing. Plus 1 over 1, so that's just 1. So we've got a half ln 3 over 2 plus 1 over 3/4, that's 4 over 3, take away 1, which is a half ln 3 over 2. 1 and a third, take away 1 is just a third. Now let's check how it wanted the answer, or it was a show that, wasn't it? So, well, there we go, we've got a half ln 3 over 2 plus a third, which is exactly what we've got.